What's good, everybody? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Another week here, a week closer to some Buckeye football. And we got a nice announcement today or sort of an update today about the season that's very exciting that we're going to dive into. Please like that. Click the little thumb button and, make sure you like the video. Every time I'm going to say it, you should already be doing it. It should be drilled in your head already, like something crazy. Like, and then please subscribe. We're seeing that we're inching closer and closer to our goal of 40K, and we're really, really right there at 37. We've seen some uptick in the subscriptions. Keep clicking that subscription button. We are getting there little by little. All right. And also, guess what? We have 26 Robert Smith days until kickoff versus Ohio State. I'm sorry, versus Texas and Ohio State at the shoe, y'all. Just another long line of great broadcasters. That we're called wide receiver U and all types of U's. We're broadcaster U as well. Robert Smith is just another one of those guys who's done a great job on TV representing the Ohio State University for years. That doesn't get talked about enough, for real. But listen, we're going to go ahead and bring Nevada in. We got a lot to talk about with this today's development and everything that comes with that development. Nevada, what's up, brother? How you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling I was feeling good until I just had flashbacks to I can still remember when I got the news that Elliot Uzelac had come in and hurt Robert Smith's feelings or something,
Oh,
and that he was sitting out the season, and I'm like, what in the world just happened
I
here?
was trying to
And
keep that part out, but I did.
it was like that was the one where Robert Smith said that he didn't emphasize that school was important enough, but then Robert Smith left early to go to the NFL,
Right.
and then it was just very confusing. Great running back though. I mean, great
Yeah.
running back, great pro. I mean, actually, maybe even a better pro than he was a college back. Maybe. I mean, he was a very productive NFL player for sure. And yeah, but Elliot Uzelac hurting his feel. I remember I was on a cruise. I was on a cruise ship, and I got the back then, like the information wasn't quite as easy to access as it was now, and it just somehow got that Elliot Uzelac had hurt his feelings and he was sitting out the season, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is you're ruining my cruise now. But hey,
That was definitely weird.
that
It, it
was
was
weird.
it was
It
kind of
was,
like I imagine myself or everybody back then like, really? Like it just didn't make sense. Like it was just like, are you joking right now? So with that said, I think his pro career was better just off the strength of that alone. I mean, it's just his college career was really good, but that kind of, I don't want to say tarnished. It just threw a monkey wrench at his career at Ohio State. But he was a good one, and he was
no,
definitely a good Minnesota
but
Viking.
have we ever seen anything like that before? I mean, I'm talking about
I
at any
can't think of
school.
any.
I can't think of anything either. That was one for the books, man. That was a weird one. But 26,
Yeah.
I didn't know he was 26 either. So that's good. You're pulling out
Oh.
all sorts of knowledge now. 25 is going to be tough. You're getting to the lower numbers, and we got a
Ooh.
lot of
Yeah.
competition.
I know. I might have to do a pre-scouting,
Yeah.
a legal advanced scouting tonight
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
number 25 to see who I'm going to pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're right. There's some good choices with
Yeah,
that
for
one. But
sure.
yeah, So we're going to get right into it. The coaches poll came out today. It's about that time, y'all. We're getting closer and closer. And so in Nevada, I did not know this. I did not know this was the first time in history that a 1 versus 2 in the coaches poll were opening up the season. If that trivia question would have came out, I'd have been like, oh yeah, that happened before. So number 1, Texas Longhorns, according to the coaches poll, will be, trotting on the field with Arch Manning. Arch Golden Boy, glaze him up. If you're the SEC, Arch Manning with the Texas Longhorns coming in here to the shoe versus number 2 Ohio State. And it is going to be an even bigger, even huger matchup. And we are here for it. And we're going to talk about it and everything that kind of spins from it. Nevada, did you know that this was the first coaches poll 1 versus 2? And what's your thoughts on that when you heard about it?
Well, it's funny because I was actually going to ask you if it had ever happened before. So you're way ahead of me because I couldn't remember it ever happening. But if you asked me to bet, I just said it had to have happened. Like
Yeah.
it had to have happened at some point. There had been a versus two, but I mean, crazy that we're having a game this big right off the bat. You don't want to rehash this because the game's already planned and we're going and doing it, but not happy about it. I'd rather be playing Mercer or Furman or something like that, but we're not. So we're gonna take place in this historic, first of its kind, 1 versus 2 matchup. Um, I'm not sure we're going to get the benefit. We're not going to get any benefit for doing that. But hey, it's going to be an exciting day in the horseshoe. Um, but do I wish it was a night game? Sure. Do I wish it
Yes.
was on Sunday or Monday? So yeah. Um, do I wish we weren't playing it out? Sure. But we are. So here we go. And got some breaking news today that Texas lost their starting right tackle. Now they lost their 2 tackles from last year to the NFL draft, and so this was the guy replacing the guy that went to the NFL draft, and he's out for the season. So um, I don't want to sound ghoulish or that I root for any injuries or anything because that's certainly not what we're about. But um, my point to you pre-show was nobody cried any tears for us last year when we lost Seth McLaughlin or
Yep.
or Josh Simmons. You know what I'm saying? There's like, hey, tough luck, Buttercup, and suck it up and do your thing. Um, so for Texas, tough loss for them. Maybe a little edge for Ohio State, and maybe something else for Matt Patricia to take advantage of. But hey, in a game like this, it's going to come down to a bunch of little plays and a bunch of little things kind of going your way. And um, it's I can't remember ever being so excited to see a defense versus offense matchup, on both sides of the ball
Yeah.
than I am this one because you've got so much hope with Sayin and this aerial circus that we have and this great offensive line, and then Arch Manning's coming, and I think people had missed the point on Caleb Downs moving to the nickel or playing basically keep Arch Manning's legs under control.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got to control him running from moving around the field. And one way to do that is to move Caleb closer to the line of scrimmage. Suck him into the nickel spot right there. Get your two, premier, dog safeties that we've talked about, on the field at the same time in Hartford and McLean, and get some tacklers out there. So I look. I think this is going to be a great chess match. I think we're going to see Matt Patricia at his absolute zenith here right off the bat because
Yeah.
I know he wants to make a statement. Matt's at the point where he's. I'm not saying his career's on kind of an ebb, but he's got some stuff to prove to people, and I think he's out to set it. And what better setting than a 1 versus 2 in the horseshoe against Arch Manning to start writing his new story. So I'm certainly excited about it.
Absolutely. This is just and today's development just made things even more ramped up with the announcing of the 1 versus 2. We believe the AP poll usually lines up pretty well. It's going to be 1 versus 2 with the AP as well. But with that said, I was going to say your point about Caleb Downs. That's an excellent point because think about the playoff, Shaw. Think about what Nose did with Caleb Downs, kind of bringing him up as sort of a hybrid, Mike linebacker-ish hybrid. That was very effective in the playoffs, and that is the luxury of having a weapon like Caleb Downs. You can bring him in those nickel packages to basically be somewhat of a spy. I mean, he'll be reading, but he'll be there to be able to back up and go against the pass and do well with that, as we know, and come up and be a great run support and have the speed to track him down. So, but we did that very similar in the playoffs. Nose did that last year. Go watch the Tennessee game and watch the defense. So I think Matty P can actually take a look at that film and kind of derive his own way of implementing that. But that's a great point, Nevada. And to the point about the injury, yeah, obviously that's a tough blow. Listen, I pray no injuries for either side. No more. Ohio State, Texas, everybody stay healthy. But yeah, it's a tough game. And certainly nobody cried tears for us when we lost a Remington Award winner and a first round left tackle. Of course, it's like how's that, whatever. They don't care. So you got to play on. But I'm hoping for no more injuries. Tough blow for that kid and for Texas. But yeah, when that happens, just like teams came after us, you got to obviously attack what is a perceived weak point. And so, it'll be a chess match, but this is definitely a big blow for Texas because I don't think he was named the starter in Nevada yet, but he was pretty much Texas fans believed he was going to be the guy, right?
Yeah, no, I mean the Texas guys I've talked to said that he was definitely going to be the guy in a little mini battle, but he was definitely the chalky pick to be the starting right tackle. And that's, I mean, hey, you can't afford to lose guys like that. I mean, they've got a little bit of a luxury that it's not like the week of game day. I mean, look, we lost Seth McLaughlin walking a TV downstairs, what,
Crazy.
3 days before the Indiana game or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? And we had to reshuffle the entire line. I mean, they've got 3 weeks. So,
Yeah, true.
I mean, Texas has got some time in terms of doing it, but hey, it's going to be that game is going to be fun, man. That game's going to be fun because Arch, if you watched Arch at all, he's, they lost a lot, from their wide receivers. And with a young quarterback like that, they're going to try to spill him because young quarterbacks, when you take away his first read, you know what they want to do? They want to tuck and run. And
Hmm.
that's what Archman, and he's been really good with his legs, but when you've got linebackers that can run like Sonny and Arvell, and you've got Caleb, as your nickelback, I mean, that's basically having a third linebacker. I mean, Caleb really is the ideal nickelback. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's a guy that can cover, but a guy that can actually track it from the tackling, and one of the surest tacklers I've ever seen at Ohio State. So I think that's going to be the adjustment that Ohio State makes to try to contain Arch Manning's legs, because I think them stopping Arch Manning's legs is going to be the key to them winning the game.
Yes.
Not him
Yes.
passing. It's you got to stop his running. Stop his running, make him beat you with his arms. I'll take my chances with that. If Arch Manning can come into the horseshoe and torch, Iggy and Jermaine Matthews and our defensive secondary and the pass rush that we're going to be bringing, then I'll just tip my hat to him and we'll just kind of move on down the road. But you know, I don't want to see us get beat by a quarterback running. And you hit it Arch Manning a couple times and you might knock him out of the game. And again, not rooting for injury or anything like that, but it's not like that didn't happen last year, the last time we played him. They
Right.
cracked him upside the head. He was concussed, and that's why he wasn't on the goal line when they were in the goal line set, and that's why they were running wide. And that set up that whole Scoop and Sawyer, was the Arch Manning concussion and Arch Manning being out of the game. So I think Knowles Patricia wants to bring more of that, and rolling Caleb Downs up there, I think, is a stroke of genius, and I think that's going to be something to really keep an eye on.
Yep, I definitely agree, and that's a good point. A reminder of Archie being concussed, and I mean, this is just so intriguing to me because I know the fine bombs and the SEC. Arch has been anointed. He has been anointed. Obviously, he has his name, Arch Manning. But I mean, I think there's a little bit of extras being put on him a little too early, and this is like the perfect storm from our standpoint of him being anointed king coming into a snake pit, which it will be. I have faith in Buckeye Nation. I know there's still a knock on the noon crowd, but listen, this ain't Mercer or Tulsa. We get up for these games. We're going to be up for that game. Trust and believe. And so him coming into the shoe. So I'm wondering, Nevada, I'm wondering what Sark is going to do because and I don't know who the backup is, but I'm sure they're not as good as Arch. So is he going to try to dial back some of the runs? Is he going to do any zone read? Is he just going to just spread quick passes to the flats bubbles, quick reads, get it out of his hands, and basically make our guys tackle in space, try to hit us over the top, with play action, all that stuff. I'm just wondering if he's going to try to protect Arch and just allow him to use his legs situationally, get him out on the edge, give him the option to run and pass, not so much Q runs and zone reads. I'm just wondering, What do you think? Do you think Sark is going to say, hey, we got to win this game. Go do what you got to do, Arch. We trust you to not get dinged up. Or do you think he's going to play it back a little bit and limit his legs as far as intentionally running, I should say?
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think they'll limit him. I think it's one thing to do it when you've got Quinn Ewers as the starter and you're the situational backup in terms of
Yeah.
doing it. But I think the first thing I think they'll spread it out, try to hit the short passes, try to hit the bubble screens, try to take advantage of some of our aggression, maybe run some screen packages and some other things like that. But when the rush comes in and he can break contain, he's going to want to opportunistically take advantage of that. And that's where having a guy like Caleb Downs who can track him down sideline to sideline and keep it under control, keep those runs from being chain movers. That'll be a big thing, but that's going to be a big part of the chess match in terms of doing it. But I think in this day and age, I don't think you can afford to run your quarterback that much. You just,
Yeah.
you see the statistics on the number of injuries that quarterbacks get, and it's one of the reasons why Urban Meyer and Ryan Day, kind of gone away from the quarterback. Ryan went way too far. We went 3 years without a QB run for a touchdown, which you know that put us zero, and the next lowest team had six,
Yeah.
and we were at zero. So like we were so far behind the curve in terms of that. That was during the Kyle McCord and CJ
Stroud.
Stroud thing. But I mean, in last year, but I think it's kind of like Will Howard last year. Will Howard, when we needed some runs, you go to it, but they weren't using Will Howard like they used to use JT Barrett, just
Right.
pounding him up there in terms of doing it. But I think the way that we ran Will Howard last year is the way that Arch Manning will be utilized for Texas. They'll if it's 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, I would not be surprised if they call a quarterback run because that's how you gain numbers. You have an extra blocker, hard to account for that, and you have a quarterback that can run and kind of get after that. And that's the thing. Our job is going to be to try to hit him as hard as we can whenever we can to make it
Yeah.
uncomfortable for them to run the quarterback. But I think that's how we'll do it. And because Sark, you can say a lot of things about Sark, but I think he's one of the great offensive minds in college football. Really, really, really smart guy. Really gifted on the offensive side of the ball. And it's going to be quite the matchup between him and Matty P. Matty P calling his first game ever in college. So and we're all in for a treat here in 3 weeks. I can't wait.
Yeah, we are. And yeah, you're right. I can't see. And listen, I respect Arch. He has talent. I think he is a talent. I think he can like potentially be really, really good. And I do respect them legs. Like the first time I saw him run, I was like, because you think of the Manning brothers, like there's statues. Eli's a little more spry than Peyton, but come on, when nobody looking at them like that, and you see Arch running, it's like, where'd this come from?
Well,
So
you see, you're too young. You didn't the grandpa Archie Manning was a
yeah, I didn't
runner.
see Archie play the older Archie. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I mean, he was a runner. I mean, you wonder where that genetic code's coming from. I mean, man, that guy was Fran Tarkington of his day and would run around and try to do it. But you're right. The sons, Cooper and Peyton and and
Eli.
Arch, Eli were just I mean, statues. I mean,
Yeah, the
absolute
genetic code
statuesque.
skipped them, like clearly
Skip that.
skipped them. all he all all Peyton had was Omaha. Omaha. No, I'm joking. I was a big
Oh,
Peyton Manning fan, but
oh
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah. I mean, so with that said, it's definitely going to be interesting to see this matchup. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back and watch if I can find the games on YouTube. I'm gonna go watch Arch Manning in his 2 games he started in just to get, because I'm just a nerd. I just want to go and just check him out and do my own little bit of scouting and kind of see what his full toolkit is. I know he doesn't have a noodle arm. He can get it out there and all that. And I know that's not a real full, like that's not a great opponent. Those 2 opponents aren't great opponents, but I still want to take a look and watch him because that's just what I do. But yeah, this is going to be so fun. And of course, your boy Matthew McConaughey on the sideline, throwing up the horns while we're throwing the horns down and the pomp and the circumstance and the 1 versus 2. Yeah, man, this is going to be crazy. I'm just hoping it's not going to be super duper ridiculously hot. On that day. Like, just keep it in the 80s. Like, it's been a hot summer here in Columbus. So I'm hoping it's not that brutal here on that day.
Yeah, well, the last time we were in the stadium, it was the Great Tex or Tennessee invasion,
Oh, it
where
was cold.
now this one, there won't be that many Texas fans there, but
Yeah,
so like you said, we'll be able to bring it, but hey, the Texas fans are so. Yeah, I tell you, if you want to go on a fun road trip, go down to Austin, catch a game. They're some of the best fans, great hospitality, just great people down there. They really are. They're like the anti-Michigan, anti-Wisconsin
Penn State.
type of anti-Penn State type of crowd,
Yeah,
and they really know how to put on a great show. And in terms of doing it, it's a great place to see college football. And I hope we return the favor of them up here because they really are nice folks. And like I said,
yeah.
Matthew McConaughey's he's a guilty pleasure of mine. I like Matthew McConaughey a lot, and
Yeah, me
even though
too.
he's yeah, I mean, he's
Yeah,
just
I like him.
he's like a real guy. He's like a real guy, and the fact that he's a real guy that loves his team so much that he goes and stands on the sideline and does. I mean, like, come on, what's not to love about that?
Yeah, and yeah, he's it's hard to not like Matthew McConaughey. I mean, Lincoln Lawyer is one of my favorite movies, and of course his role in Wolf of Wall Street is still hilarious to this day. So listen, I'm a Matt McConaughey fan. He's a good fan to me. There's some that are obnoxious. I'm like, man, I can't stand this dude. Not him. I know some people disagree, but I think this is the Matt McConaughey feature just brings this it just brings more pomp and circumstance, and I love it, man. But I got the coaches poll pulled up, and I wanted your thoughts on this because I was talking to a Penn State buddy of mine, Larry. What's up, Larry? Takahashi, that's my guy. We were talking, and he was listen, he doesn't want Penn State to have a target on their back. He's one of those like, man, like, no, 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 don't pick us. So he was happy to see that they were number 3 behind Ohio State, although the Big Ten media picked them to win the conference, and a lot of the national people picked them to win. But just in general, at a quick glance, what's your thoughts on this early coaches poll?
Well, I mean, I think that Ohio State's getting a lot of respect. I mean, that many first place votes, and um, the thing that you've always got to factor into this stuff and all these things is the schedule. Looking at the schedule, and I think Penn State's getting a lot of love because they've got a schedule that's pretty uninspiring. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And so in Ohio State, I mean, this is a tough year for Ohio State from a schedule standpoint. And um, it's not the it would be worse if we were playing obviously Texas at Texas, but just a lot. When your road games are Washington, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan, that's that's tough.
yeah,
Those all every one of those games is tough. And Michigan, if we're betting that they're on a postseason ban, then not that the Michigan game doesn't already mean a ton and everything like that, but for them, that's going to be like
yeah. Super
their
Bowl time.
Super Bowl game. I mean, that's going to be a very unpleasant environment to go. So I say to admonish, like much like I said to all the fans about going down to Texas and enjoying a game down there. I'm telling you, if you go to Michigan this year with them, because they hold Ohio State responsible
Right.
for them getting the hammer on this thing, and when they get the hammer, I really worry for our fans. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I don't know what those people do up there, and I know I'm being serious. I mean, like I mean, would you feel safe? B, would you go up there wearing your thing and wearing your Buckeye necklace and go? Maybe you would. Maybe you're braver than I am, but I would not do that.
Yeah, I've never been up to a game there. First of all, I haven't heard the greatest things about their atmosphere. Like, you talking about like top 10 atmospheres. That's why I haven't really been like pressed to go up there. It's just like I want to go to the Penn State game, although I know they're kind of crazy. Wisconsin, like their atmospheres. So I haven't really been that. But if I went up there, I would go with a crew. I would be with my dudes. And so I wouldn't be concerned. Not for real. Now if I just went up there by myself, in a snake pit, then maybe. But nah, I would be with my guys, so I wouldn't be worried about it. But to your point though, in general, is that yes, these idiots are still blaming Ryan Day's brother and Ohio State for the hammer coming and for their troubles. So yeah, I can. It'll be a snake pit up there. It'll be just a crazy frenzy of bloodlust for Ohio State fans, and I can see them try to do some stupid stuff because they're just ridiculous. So that's a good call out, Nevada, with that. But to your overall point, yes, Penn State's schedule is not very difficult. And so ours is. I know some people try to argue that it's not that. It is. At Illinois, at Wisconsin, Penn State, who's a top 5 team at home, going to Michigan, that's going to be tough. And don't sleep on at Washington. So yeah, this is going to be a tough. If we make the playoffs again, which I expect us to do, it'll be as earned as any team that you can say, because this is going to be a tough road. We're the defending national champs. I'm sorry, we're not defending anything. Sorry, Ryan Day. We won the national championship. So teams are going to be gunning for us. The Wisconsins and all those teams, they're going to be trying to really come after us.
Let me just ask you this question: which team do you think was better on paper, this year's team or last year's team?
Talking about Ohio State,
Yeah,
better on paper.
yeah.
See, that's tough, Nevada, because we
But
have. Go ahead.
to me, I'm saying it was last year's team. Fifth year senior quarterback, 50
Yeah,
starts. You know, 14 guys off the team drafted the NFL. I mean, just veteran team
yeah.
and easy schedule. And I guess my point is, with that great
Schedule, yeah,
team with that easy schedule, we still lost 2 games in the regular season.
yeah, yeah.
You know what
No,
I'm saying? So like
yeah,
when people say to me, "Oh, well, this is going to be a cakewalk, 10-2, 11-1, whatever," I'm like, man, last year's team, which was a great team, went 10-2 in the regular season in a schedule that wasn't nearly as challenging as this one.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's a
yeah,
great point. I guess
you
I
know,
was I was overthinking it. I'm thinking Sayin is probably going to end up being better than Will Howard. Jeremiah Smith in his second year. Our line is going to be better. But no, you're right. The team last year was proven, experienced, and just better. And we're still waiting to see with some of our guys. So yeah, that's a great point. I people are always goofy when it comes to. It doesn't matter what we do, Nevada. Ohio State schedule is always weak. Like, especially if you talk about somebody from the SEC or out of the Big Ten, it's always Michigan fan is we good a weak schedule. Like, what are you talking about? It's weird and dumb. And yes, this is going to be a tough run in the regular season for sure. But yeah. So but I'm looking at the poll and I'm seeing what Michigan is 14, which is a little high to me. Um, I don't. Is Underwood supposed to be starting? I think he's going to start. They got them at 14. I mean, I don't know. They lost a lot. You think that's a little high for Michigan, Nevada?
well, again, I go back to their schedule in terms of like with the kind of schedule that they have, maybe that's right. Do I think they're going to be very good? I mean, I would bet, and I will bet big money that they, you know, have at least 3 losses during the regular season. I think 3 or 4 losses the regular season. That I can see 5 losses because I don't think Underwood's going to be all that. I mean, I've seen Underwood play. Um, Terrific physical specimen, but Underwood compared to Julian Sayin, like not in the same galaxy in terms of being able to throw the football. I mean, Julian Sayin is a pure throw, an elite 11 winner, 5-star, classically trained quarterback. Underwood's an athlete that's running around back there, and he's not throwing to anybody. They have no, but they're who are their wide receivers? They
Right.
don't have JJ and Carnell and Brandon Ennis and Mylan Graham and Max Clare, and you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's thrown to a bunch of bums. So yeah, I think
That's
that's high. I think Michigan's always high, too high ranked. But
yeah, they are.
for people saying, "Oh, that's why a postseason ban doesn't mean anything to them." Hey, they're preseason number 14 in the country, so
Exactly.
they think they're gonna. I guarantee you, weren't we preseason number 14 in 2002 when we won
Yes.
the national championship?
Or was it or was it 2014 when we were I'm trying to remember. Was it 2014 we started out 14?
No, because
It was one of those years.
we dropped. I think we were number 14 at the beginning of 2002. Obviously, we dropped in 14 when we lost to Virginia Tech.
That's right.
But
That's right.
but the point is, like you can they still think that they're in the national championship thing. And so I think Michigan, when you factor in the fact that they're going to have to be dealing with these sanctions, multi-game suspension for their head coach, um, they're going to be facing a lot. So I'm calling it right now. Bet the under on Michigan regular season wins. I think they're going to be facing a lot of turmoil, and they're really going to struggle. And I think at the end of the day, they're gonna vastly underperform. Much like I said this last year, you could have bet Michigan at over 3 regular season wins. Their losses rather, they ended up with 5. So it was comfortably over weeks beforehand, and you were making money.
Yeah. So real quick to your point, I got the schedule up. And so we're not doing super chats yet, but this super chat is too relevant for me not to touch on it now. Oni Kuno, thanks for the 2. This is an Oklahoma fan. He said, "You guys beat Texas, we'll beat Michigan." Deal? Question mark. That's cool. Now thinking of that here, looking at this schedule, after the Oklahoma game, I think that's a loss. Okay. And you're right. We have to account for the
No,
sanctions.
no. Michigan is going to lose at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's
Oh,
going to
yes.
boat. They're going to boat race those guys. I
Oh,
have
well,
absolutely
that
no
would be
no doubt.
beautiful to see. And I don't
Yeah.
doubt that.
Yes.
I don't doubt that. So that's an L. And we believe that they're not the 2-game suspension for just what was it, Central Michigan and the advanced scouting bowl game against Central Michigan and Nebraska. Yeah, that he's going to be out for probably at least 4 to 6 of those games. I mean, I would imagine. The point is, not only will they lose to Oklahoma, but don't sleep at Nebraska. I think Dylan Raiola and the boys are going to jump all over Michigan in that game. I really do. What do you think about that matchup?
I think at Nebraska is super tricky for them.
Yeah.
I think at USC is super,
Yes.
because USC is one of my sleeper teams this year. I think USC is going to be way better than people think they're going to be, and I think that's another potential loss for them as well. But I no, I agree with you. I think at Nebraska is going to be that's I think Michigan's going to struggle in just about every game, just because when you have a quarterback like Underwood. Um, I just think it's going to be feast and famine. I think he's going to be turning the ball over a ton. If you saw how bad he was in the spring game, I mean, he was truly awful in the
Yeah.
spring game. Go watch it now. And I know we don't want to make everything about the spring game and stuff like that, but he stunk. I mean, he truly stunk. And so the idea that he's going to be able to go into some of these difficult road matchups and make a game of it, I'd be really shocked if that were true.
Yep. I agreed. So yeah, it's about that time. And I'm looking at these schedules, man. I'm just like, yeah, just as we close out this total Michigan schedule stuff, I just want to nail what Nevada said. Because some people are making it seem like a postseason ban is no big deal this year. The Steve DeAces and the Michigan blogs, they believe they have a chance to make the playoffs this year. They believe they can win the Big Ten or at least play for the Big Ten. Like, y'all can act like this is a throwaway year all you want, because we can see, just like we saw last year, they were going to have multiple losses, but they believe, and apparently the coaches believe they're a top 15 team. So just saying, like the impact of a postseason ban this year matters. Trust and believe that for sure. But wanted to get back. Oh, go
I just
ahead.
want to say I just want to say one more thing on that. How stupid were they for not taking a proactive 1-year postseason ban last year? I mean, how dumb were they? I mean,
I
you want to talk
mean,
about it like a real mitigant, and like, hey, we're really taking this seriously. Hey, we're gonna really like that would have been the most obvious year of all time to take a postseason ban,
yeah,
but no, dumb, 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 didn't do it, and
the arrogance of Michigan,
yeah, so
the
dumb.
the delusion and arrogance of Michigan. And it's just, again, and not to go deep down a rabbit hole, but this is what the shows we've done with Intrinsic and Trinzy and Justin Spiro talking about mitigating factors versus aggravating factors. This is the type of stuff. It's not just offering something up; it's when you offer it up. And absolutely, like it's just one of those things that will come back to bite them in more ways than one. So great point. And so yeah, we'll go ahead and close this out, but getting back to the Texas game, we also wanted to talk about some big visitors. And this is just starting. Listen, we're 3 weeks out, or what is it? Today's the 4th. We're more than 3 weeks out. And so this list that we're going to be discussing from the Buckeye Scoop page, started by Funky Buck. What up, brother? We got some big time visitors coming to the shoe for that game, and it's only going to get better. So definitely want to talk about that. Nevada, on this list, because there's several. Who's the guy? Who's the number one guy that you're excited about coming into the shoe for that game?
Well, I mean, look, I mean, you go through the list and it's like, I mean, it's crazy. It's kind of a who's who in terms of the game day stuff. I mean, for me, it would be like, you know, probably Khalil Johnson. I mean, the offensive. I'm
Yeah,
always about the offensive linemen. So Khalil Johnson or Cameron Wagner would be. I mean, yeah. I mean, you've got Brody McNeil coming. Obviously, you've got the commit Aaron Thomas coming. You've got Max Riley coming. So I'm all about those big guys up front. And yeah, I
yeah,
think to me, it's going to be all about the offensive line that day for the football game. But for the visits as well, I think that they've done a great job in terms of reaching out to guys. That's one of the big things, one of the big complaints about Ohio State and offensive line recruiting in the past was that they hadn't cast a wide enough net. But they're
yeah.
clearly casting on this one, and they're making the offensive lineman the centerpiece of their recruiting efforts. Certainly for the that number one, number two game. So I'm excited about that.
Definitely. And I'm counting on the list. I got one, two, three, four, five linemen, big time committed and not committed coming to the shoe. I see my little cousin, Emmanuel Moses, will be in the shoe, the cornerback from the 2027 class. He's probably, I don't know, maybe I should do it, ancestor.com. Maybe he is my cousin. Maybe I need to look
Moses,
into that.
that's E Moses.
E Moses, yes.
E Moses.
E Moses and B Moses. I need to get a sideline pass for that game and just
Yeah.
introduce myself like I'm your uncle B Moses. You know what I'm saying? Like, from your auntie's, your aunt, whatever. I'll make something up
Yeah,
on the spot, but
exactly.
but yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. But yeah, and this list is gonna grow. This list is just getting started. I'm sure of it, and so it's gonna be a great time. And also with kind of with Ross Dellinger, not Ross Dellinger, Ross Bjork, and Ryan Day, and just the whole crew having a better handle on NIL. I think the approach is going to be better, different, more confident. So yeah, I'm very excited about this first game with these visits to bring them in, because it's one thing bringing someone to Columbus to the shoe for a matchup like this. That in itself is unmatched. It's magical. So on top of that, now it's like, okay, we got a better idea of our approach with all this NIL stuff. So I'm excited about what's going to come out of that visit. And this is just what is this? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 12 guys so far. This is going to grow. How many you think is going to be what? 2025? More
Yeah.
than that?
Yeah, I think it'll be
Easy?
20 or 25. Yeah, they've got a ton of invitations out there. These are the only ones we've been able to confirm so far. But yeah, I mean, everybody's going to want to come to this game. I mean, the only thing that's going to keep people from coming, frankly, is the noon start. It's
Yeah.
hard to it's hard to get up there. Even from Florida, it's hard to get on a plane in the morning and get up there in time, before the noon start. So they're going to have to really, catch those early morning flights. That's why it's better. You have an evening game, you can get everybody in from all over the country. But hey, we're just gonna have to do the best we can. But there's certainly a lot of interest in it. I'm sure they're going to be unveiling the new national championship thing to honor the 2024 team in the ring there. So we get another natty hung up there, and I mean, what a great time, and what a great
Yeah.
time, and what a great crowd. I mean, you always feel like you're going to have a big, people are having a chance to really kind of get after it after national championship, but to kick it off with a 1 versus 2 in the horseshoe. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about. That's never happened ever. We talk about a 1 versus 2 never happening. How about a 1 versus 2 happening for a team that won the national championship the year before?
Crazy.
That may never ever happen again. In our lifetime. So certainly a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, we've definitely had some history making things happen in our lifetime, from the 14 playoff to the 12-team playoff, first chance, like everything. We've seen a lot for sure. And just a couple things. I was debating back and forth with Funky and Devin the other day on the show about should I go ahead and just bite the bullet and just pay crazy amount for the tickets now for Texas, or try to wait till it gets closer? Well, that whole debate, I think Dev is winning that now with this 1 versus 2 announced. It's going to be even harder to get, reasonably priced tickets for this game. But I'm going to work it out. I'm going to do something because I have to go to this game. Number two, the other thing I was going to say is I'm going to say something borderline blasphemous. I know Buckeye Nation is going to hate me for at least 5 minutes, but I kind of miss ESPN, Nevada.
Oh,
I
wow.
kind of miss ESPN. You know why I miss ESPN right now? Because this would have absolutely been a night game if this was ESPN. Would it have not have? Right? So, I mean, just think about it. There's the tailgates at Ohio State are amazing. That's really curtailed as far as the fun you can have. Shoot, I've been invited to a few different tailgates, and I'm just like, man, there's no way I'm going to be able to make it to all the tailgates and have fun and really take my time. And I mean, just stuff like that. Getting ramped up for the game, the night game atmosphere. Listen, I know some of y'all are tired of us whining about, oh, it's a noon game. We understand every game is not going to be a night game. We understand Fox has a contract and they like their big noon. We get that. But man, it just seems like we get the shaft when it comes to big games like this. And watch this be a night game in Austin next year. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know, man. It's a little frustrating. I'm sorry, but I miss ESPN in this regard, Nevada.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, there's no question it would be a night game if we were still into that. I think the simple solution is that they just need to limit the number of times a team can be asked to play in the big noon
Yes.
slot. You know,
Yes.
much they do with like Thursday night football or Monday night football or Sunday night football. They just got to limit the number of times that they can do that, and I think that's the way to kind of, at least, soften the blow. Um, because Fox is obviously committed to that big noon. They want to put the best games there, but the fact that we get it all the time and other teams don't get it at all, that's not fair to us either. Because it's not as big a home field advantage playing in Columbus at noon as it is later. It's just not, because the crowd gets a chance to get all liquored up, and there's B Moses is hitting six tailgates instead of maybe one. You know what I'm saying? And by the time people stumble into the horseshoe there, it's rocking and rolling. So, but hey, we got to deal with what we got to do. The fans are gonna have to bring it. Everybody's got to be challenged to really be on their A game. But I think coming off a national championship, if people aren't excited for that, then I don't really know what to say.
Yeah, me either. And it's just, I think we'll be fired up. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, a night game is definitely, I'll put my money on us being more rowdy and fired up in a night game. But I do believe this game is going to be the atmosphere. We'll show up. We'll definitely show up. I'm not worried about that. It just hits different under the lights at the shoe. And again, my last game was the Tennessee game, and that was just amazing. It was amazing. And so, and I've been to other night games that have been crazy. I was at the USC game, the one we like, the close loss, to who was the quarterback? I forget his name. Mark, was it Mark? Not
Sanchez.
not I don't think it was Sanchez at that point. I think he was gone. But they had Lindell White still, and they had the big guy on defense who Boom Heron ran over. I forget. It was a great game, a great atmosphere.
Was that the
And
one where Grant Schwartz missed the punt block? He was in on a punt block. I don't know if you remember,
oh,
and he missed it. Like he
I
would have kept. He could have made like the great play that would have defined his entire career at Ohio State. And I have to go back and run that
was
back,
it
'cause
that game?
that
That's a
sticks
good
with
question.
that
That
sticks
sounds
with
so
my mind.
familiar though.
Yeah, yeah,
That sounds so familiar, but yeah, that was a close, tough loss. But the atmosphere was great. My point is, night games at the shoe are phenomenal. But I do believe, I have trust and faith in Buckeye Nation that we're going to show up and be crazy, even for a noon game, because it's such a big game. And not only that, Nevada, it's the anticipation. It's the first game, so
yeah.
the juices are flowing and all that. So we're going to be good. I ain't worried about it. So, all right, you about to say something?
I was gonna say, I, I but it was silly because I just I'm used to kind of easing into this the season. I'm used to Akron. I'm used to something else like that. I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm not sure. Like revving it up right off the bat, man. It's like a car starting cold. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
usually like to like kind of warm it up a little bit and kind of bring. Man, this one we're just got to get hot right out of the gate. But hey, such is life. We got to do it.
Yep, definitely. Jim, thank you. Barkley, Matt. I said Mark. I was thinking Matt. Matt Barkley. He
That's the
was the
one.
Yep, exactly. Thank you. Thank you for that. But now you're gonna make me go look at the Schwartz because I remember that, but I'm like, was it that game? I can't remember if it was that game. But I think you're right, man. I do think you're right. So
Yeah, I think he was in a position to make a play because I remember thinking, "Oh my gosh, this guy could have his career's been really kind of unremarkable, and he could have just made the biggest play of all." And he was in, and somehow like he missed the punt, and it was like the
yeah,
ball like went right under him or something.
yeah. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that one, because I think you might be right, man. All right, so we can jump on some of these super chats if you want to. We got
Perfect.
Mike Green. We got Mike Green in the house. What's up? Thanks for the 199. They have Arch Manning ranked over Ryan Williams. I'm not surprised by that. I mean, again, I started out the show talking about how he's getting glazed. And again, I'm not saying he's not good. I think Arch Manning is a talent. I think he could be really good potentially. I haven't seen enough to justify the Paul Feinbaum's really just laying it on thick. So I don't know. Do you think are you surprised by Arch Manning being ranked over Ryan Williams?
No, just because it's just a higher value position. Quarterback's always a higher value position, and yeah, they do love him some Arch Manning. I mean, Arch Manning, I think if you talk to people, he's the consensus number one pick in the draft next year. So it
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me that he would be that highly regarded. And maybe I haven't seen enough, and maybe I too need to go back and watch the Louisiana Monroe and Mississippi State games and see what this is all about because
Yeah.
you know I'm like I said, I feel like Tom Hanks in Big One. I'm like I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it. So it's like, but maybe I'm just missing something. Maybe we'll all get it on that day and go, oh, okay, now we understand why. But for right now, I don't get it.
You talking about going to go back and watch something? You gonna make that's the second big reference you've made in the past week.
It's
You
like,
gonna make me go back and watch
I was
that
like,
phenomenally
I,
classic movie,
that's such a great
Chopsticks.
movie. Yeah, B. Moses and Robert Loggia out there and the thing dancing out there.
Hey, I love that movie as a kid watching that movie. I'm gonna have to pull that up on what is it, Tubi or something. Somebody got it. I'm gonna find
Somebody's
it.
got it for sure.
Somebody's got it. But no, I was gonna say something about Arch. One other thing is that this game is huge from a lot of standpoints. But if he comes in the shoe, and God forbid, but if he comes in the shoe and let's say throws for 275 or something and 3 touchdowns on the way to a victory in Columbus, against the champs, like that's his Heisman trajectory. I mean, he's in New York unless they completely implode, right? He can literally set the stage for Heisman and all the other stuff if he comes in here and does that. So this is it's going to be a huge opportunity for both teams to really set the tone because on the flip side, Julian Sayin, he could have his coming out party. And here's the thing, and Funky, I was laughing at Funky not because he was wrong, but because he just said he has to be Brock Purdy. But he's not wrong. Like even if Julian Sayin just has a steady Eddie game, he throws for a little over 200, let's say 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and we win. I mean, then trajectory. So this it's a lot at stake for this, and the Arch Manning phenomena could really take off if he comes in here and handles business. But I think Matty P got something to say about that, Nevada.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're all going to find out. I mean, I don't think he's going to be. I've gone on record as saying I think Julian Saint's going to outperform him in that game,
Mm.
and but we'll see. I mean, there won't be there won't be any ambiguity at the end of the game. We're going to all see by then. And if I'm right about Julian Saint, if I'm wrong about Arch Manning, but I think Julian Saint's going to outperform him.
Yeah. And listen, I don't doubt that. We at the crib. We got a ton of weapons around us. Man, I can't wait. I cannot wait, Nevada. Let's get it going now. All right. Next super chat, the Bates Blueprint. Thanks for the 499. When Sayin was at Bama, he had arch level hype. The media loved him. Saban found his next one in quotes. At OSU, they questioned his ability. Media really hates us. Laughing emoji. Nevada, what you got on that?
Yeah, it is funny because yeah,
That's a fair point.
he was certainly more highly regarded there. And it's not like he didn't come to the spring game and just tear it up. I mean, Sayin had a great spring game.
He did. He
So
did.
so so it's not like we've seen him and he Bryce Underwooded us. Like he went out there and he balled out. So um, I'm very optimistic about him. I I always say, the players know who the players are. When you listen to the great JJ Smith, who is a man of very, very few words, and he is absolutely effusive in his praise of Julian Sane. So I think in this case, listen to JJ.
Yeah, and JJ just keeps slipping up and just saying he's the starter. Has to keep walking it back. You
I
you did
know.
see that the reporter had to like
Oh yeah.
yeah. So listen, Sands the guy because people keep asking me and asking us. This is not a knock on Lincoln. I think Lincoln is going to be a very solid backup, and I think he's going to be used situationally. But Sayin is the guy. Don't fret because he might have thrown a pick in fall camp or our DBs look good against some of his throws. Like he is going to be really, really good. And it's just a matter of how he comes out in the first game and manages everything with the game plan and handles the pressure of that first game. But yeah, super excited. But great point, the Bates blueprint. The media. The media is always going to spin. It's either going to be Ohio State struggles to win against such and such, but then if it's a SEC team, it's a completely different headline. We've lived that all our life. It's just what it is. Heavy. What's the quote, Nevada? Heavy lies the crown, or what
Eh,
you
eh,
know what
eh,
I'm talking about.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's just what it is.
Yes.
All right. So Jim Duchelle, our guy, thank you for the 9.99. Keep it up, Scoop. This is the reason you guys are the best. Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate you, Nevada. I've just kind of gotten hip to Jim, by doing the show, and I know that's your guy, man. This dude is a walking encouragement and just very supportive and just steady, man. So I appreciate you, Jim. Your guy Nevada, your guy Jim Nevada.
Yeah, no, just yes, look, there's only a handful of people in the world you can say that are like always positive, always up, always kind of on the upswing, and he's an energy giver, not an energy sucker, and we just appreciate the energy he brings to the show, Jim. So thanks for listening, and thanks for your support, man.
I like that. Energy giver, not an energy sucker. I like that.
Yeah.
That's
You know
that's
those
good
people,
stuff.
like they walk into your room, you know what I'm saying, like that, or your office or whatever it is, and you leave and you feel like they just drain the energy right out of you, you know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And other people just
Yes.
like jack you up, and you're like, man, I like those people that jack me up. Jim's one of those guys. He's like a energizer bunny. So
No, that's good. That and you are spot on. I refuse to be an energy sucker. I try to be an energy giver. Give flowers when they're deserved. I will praise your socks off if you do well. But if I ain't feeling you, I'm gonna let you know. But when you do good stuff, I'm gonna hype you up, and people know that about me. So yeah, Jim, appreciate you, brother. We got another super chat that just came in from Pinky in the house. Thanks for the 9.99. Love that name, by the way. By the way, when I see your name, I always think about next Friday, Pinky, Pinky. You know what I mean? The character. Anyway, for those who know, it is easy to look good against cupcake teams. Texas beat the crap out of the two teams Art started. The August 30th game will tell everyone a lot. Agreed. And you know what? I just thought about something. I got YouTube TV. I think I got the SEC network. That's where I can find. I should be able to find those games on demand. But anyway, yeah. I mean, cupcake teams, Nevada. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from him. Like he's not good because he beat up on cupcake teams. But he has not played in a game like this in his entire life. So the fact that it's on the road in Columbus against a team who, in my opinion, is how can I put it? Their hunger is believable for a team that just won a natty. It's very believable. And going to practice a few days ago, seeing them in person, to me, I saw no complacency. I saw nastiness and hunger and fire on this team. And so, yeah, this is gonna be fun, man. Come on down, Arch. Come on down, Sark. I cannot wait, Nevada.
yeah, I mean, look, I mean, it's probably if you look the biggest challenge in college football, you'd say winning at Ohio State. So, I mean, Arch Manning is picking the toughest possible thing, toughest possible opponent. They're hungry, we're hungry, and we're supremely talented on the defense side. Maybe a little, on the green side, maybe a little less experienced than we've been in the years gone by, but super talented. And we got the best player on the field on offense and Caleb Downs, and the best player on the field or on defense, and the best player on offense and JJ Smith. So that's a good
Yeah.
place to start. So if Arch Manning is good enough to scheme past those guys and beat those guys, like I said, I'll just tip my cap to him. But I'm betting that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing I'll say, and I'll repeat, because on the show with Devin the other day and Funky, we were talking about what are we more excited about, Nevada, the offense or the defense. And I've been going back and forth all off season. Currently, right now, after seeing that fall practice, I'm more excited about the defense. And that's not a knock on the offense. It's just what I saw in person, what we've been hearing is one thing, but what I saw with my own eyeballs on top of that, oh man, like I'm even more excited about Matty P and this defense now and what they can do to really frustrate Arch Manning in this Texas offense, man. And then of course you bringing out the great point about Caleb, because your point about Caleb is great, but it's even better when you actually can put on the Tennessee tape and see a very similar example of what Matty P may do with him at nickel, just to have him down in the box, but still be able to cover the the crossers and the the tight ends and all that other stuff. It's just it's your fault. You got me even more excited by reminding us of that. And so yeah, I'm very excited about this defense, Nevada, after seeing him in person.
Yeah, that's good. It's like I said, it's my favorite time of the year when you see those kids that we haven't seen a lot of. Now they're getting their first chance to start, and it's one thing to have a veteran team like we did last year, and you know what you're going to get. This year, we don't know what we're going to get. We've got a new scheme. We got two new coordinators. That's the
Yeah.
bad news. The good news is we're going to see stuff we haven't seen before. That's the good news. So lots to be excited about. Can't wait.
Definitely, definitely. So yeah, as we close out, man, again, remember, we are on Panda Watch / Hammer Watch. It could be any day now. Intrinsic, he mentioned his research shows it's usually Tuesdays through Fridays. So we weren't expecting anything today because history doesn't show Mondays, but literally any day now. I believe we're like on day 59 or something in the 30 to 90 day window. So that's a thing. We could wake up to Hammer News tomorrow or any day this week. So that's one thing we're keeping our eyes on as we continue to cover this team leading up to the game. And we'll be here for it regardless. Any last words before we hop off, Nevada?
No, yeah, just appreciate everybody. Like you said, like this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do us a favor, subscribe to the channel. Really helps us out. And we just appreciate everybody's support. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Absolutely. See you tomorrow. Love you, Scoop family, and go Bucks. Peace.